KEMPER Profiler Tones and Talks. Hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Thomas Dill. How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Tom.
Wonderful. We are still in traveling the lowlands. How low can you go? In the last episodes, we looked how we can keep the amps tight when we have extended range guitars and stuff like that, and then what kind of effects would go for with them very nicely. And today you have something special there, which is something that showed up long time ago, went away, and then suddenly popped up again, and then you grabbed it. That's the Bass 6 by Fender. Show us this thing. Lift it up a little bit so that we can see. Yeah.
Here is the one. Bass 6, not really by Fender. It's the Squire version, the cheap one. And this is something between bass and guitar. So some people say it's a 6-string bass. It's tuned in E, A, D, G, B, E, so normal guitar tuning, but just an octave lower. So let's say 6-string bass or guitar an octave lower. The scale is 30-inch. So this is something between a Jaguar or Stratocaster and a P-Bass. So the P-Bass has, I think, 34-inch, and the Strat has 25.5. And the baritone guitars, they've panned between some 27 and 30-inch scale. So it's cool to play for guitar players. So the neck is not very wide, and it feels like a baritone guitar. Let's say that. But
So
tuned down to the bass E.
So would it be correct to let me the window here. Would it be correct to compare it then to a short scale bass, maybe from
Short scale bass with
the
6
length?
strings. Yes.
Yeah, plus the two higher strings,
Yeah.
maybe. Pretty cool. Because I have this short scale bass with Talman Ibanez, and I really love it. So yeah, Squire or Fender, I mean, it's the same. It's a brother from the same mother.
I think it's Indonesia, made in Indonesia. I needed to do some work on that. So get the nut a little bit down to get a better intonation, polish the frets, but the bass is basic. Is okay for this instrument, and you can play, you can do some stuff, you can play these high chords. So it feels you can play guitar with that, but it's really low. And the great thing of that instrument is it sounds really thin. It's not that fat bass sound. It has these 3 single coil pickups. And wait a minute. Yeah. And I can go for the guitar position. Here we are. So we have 3 single coil pickups. This is the Jaguar single coil style. And you can switch on each individually. So you have 3 switches for this pickup, and for this one. And here's a low cut. So if this is on, you can hear it. This is the low cut. And then you have the really thin sound with a bridge pickup. And Then you have these two. All three. Or these two. Or the Telecaster style. So it's something really between guitar and bass. And today I'd like to show you some, one style. Yes?
Before you get into the stuff, the obvious question, what string gauges are you using, and how low could you go? Now you're in E,
E.
like basic bass tuning plus the upper two. So have you tried to go down to, drop D or even lower?
Drop D is okay. Lower is a little bit, it's you have sizzling sounds here already, and if you go a little bit lower, let's say drop D or whole step down, this is okay, but not really lower.
Okay.
And for this cheap instrument, maybe the Fender ones go very much lower, but this one is fine in E or drop D.
Okay. And what's the low E string, the string gauge?
I don't know. Is
it more than 60 or?
I think 70.
70,
something
okay.
70. Not the 100 ones of the bass. It's fatter, definitely fatter.
Okay, cool. Okay, that was just. These are my final questions towards to get an idea about how it might feel, compared to a guitar and the bass. And now, please.
Okay, let's talk about who played it. The bass 6 was played by Jack Bruce in one Cream recording and on stage. You see the bass 6 played by John Lennon on the Let It Be video. Check it out on YouTube here. And then Brian Molko of Placebo plays it, for example, at the song Slave to the Wage. And Robert Smith from The Cure plays it in Lullaby. So you can see, check out these live performances, and you will hear the bass 6 in different sound styles in action, played by these great people. And my part for today is to use the bass 6 as a secret weapon, the low down dirty secret agent for some dirty tones low down. So I have prepared some recordings. I can show you that. So here is my, where is it? Logic screen. So here we are.
Got it.
It's a simple riff part, punk rock, alternative rock style with drums, bass, two guitars, two crunch guitars, and a lead guitar. So this is how it sounds like, just with drums, bass, and the guitars. So this is the idea, and I thought I need some more dirt in the lower frequency range. And this is the thing where I recorded some tracks with the bass 6, and some different tracks. So the first things, I think we should listen to all these arrangements and these parts. So the first one is called Fuzz Bright, double tracked and panned to left and right. So this is 9 o'clock, nearly 3 o'clock, and a bright fuzz sound mixed a little bit under the guitars, and this is how it sounds like. I will turn it on now and then turn it off in the middle of the part, just to hear the difference. And here it's solo. Okay, so this is the busy part. I think, yeah, it's a little bit lower gained and not much low end in the frequency range. The next one, also double tracked, is higher gain fuzz and a little bit more low end, bottom end, but I do not play the 8 notes. It's just in whole notes and less busy. So this is how it sounds like. Here's the sound soloed. So it sounds a little bit more, yeah, warmer, woollier, I would say. And the next one is something I thought, okay, this is nice. The first one for me is a little bit too busy, too much attack and too much notes, because the crunch guitar here, I can show you, has these 8 notes. So I would like to have them as the dominant part of the rhythm. But this high gain and just whole note thing is a little bit, yeah, too boring for me. So I thought, yeah, let's do some soft 8 notes and do these with the slicer. Let the effect do my rhythm.
Okay.
And it's double tracked, so left and right. And this is how it sounds like. And solo. Okay, then I thought, okay, slicer, nice. Why not panning? Why not doing it in stereo and let the part walk between left and right? And this is the pan, auto panner. This is just one track, one stereo track. And yeah, this is how it sounds like. And soloed. Okay, so these are the options, the different settings. What do you think? What's your favorite, Tom?
Let me think. First, let me switch the screen.
Yes.
It's, well, I think they are all pretty interesting for themselves, and I'm thinking, what are the guitars for then? Because
Why do you need guitars?
yeah, because, well, the thing is, because this is so special musically and where it sits tone-wise, but then you have designed it in a way that it's, the distortion is guitar-like distortion with the focus on the mids and stuff. And that's what the guitars have also. That's a question of taste, of course, because for the moment, I'm just hearing the Zoom thing here,
Yeah.
which is a little bit limited. So I have to put a little bit of guesswork into this. With an instrument like this, and this is just an artistic question of taste, I would have gotten rid of the normal guitars, the standard tune guitars, and have done it with this one, because that's much more interesting. Because everybody, as I said, it's just a taste thing. Because this has such a different how would you call it? The basic impression, right? Quite emotionally, it's so different than the guitar part, but it sort of lives in the same area frequency-wise, but the tonality is of course an octave lower.
Yeah.
So I would have, I would take away the stereo, the doubled guitars, and do some melody stuff or some simple chords on top of that, because what's working there below and in the low mids with the bass is so much more interesting. Kind of long story short, the guitars take a little bit away from the specialty of the bass sounds, and they are all pretty interesting. I mean, if you would cut various parts or blend a little bit, from the slicer to the quarter notes and stuff like that, you could get something very interesting going. But generally, the tones, I mean, it's pretty amazing what this thing does, and I'm just wondering if I should go through the length of getting one, because
I think it's about €400 or something.
Yeah. Okay.
And a little bit of work. So, but you can do this work. Build guitars, so no problem.
Yeah, and destroy stuff. I've quite some experience with that. to turn semi-decent instruments to shit. But no, that's pretty interesting, because as you can play it like a normal guitar, you don't have to. And there are these weird solutions just to add some extra low end with these guitars who have one bass string with a separate pickup and stuff like this. But that all sounded too weird to me and too difficult to handle. And so this is quite intriguing. And you don't have to think about anything else, because it's the same tuning, the same fingering.
It's the same tuning.
And stuff like this.
So just for to explain, the intention from myself was just to add a little bit of dirt below. So not to change the setting. I wanted to have this old school punk rock style, but having it's in A, so the guitar plays only A string chords. So I just wanted to have some dirtiness, an octave lower, but not with the bass. And this is something I do very much often to fill some stuff, you can definitely use these tracks, use two of the bass 6 tracks. They sound totally interesting. And yeah, get rid of the guitars, do some melody, do some higher stuff, and you have really a balanced frequency range. So this is quite absolutely fine. And this is not mixed here. You see in the logic arrangement, there's no EQ and nothing. It's just recorded for an example to explain. And yeah, we should go to the rig manager, and I can show you some stuff what I did.
Yeah, cool.
And some nerdy details. So here we are with the rig manager. First of all, I recorded, this is something, okay, you shouldn't do that. I recorded everything with the same amp. Time is money, so just take this one amp. And even the bass, I was recording with the Marshall amp. There's something interesting to show, some little detail when you're recording bass with a profiler. You can do, normally I do 2 tracks, 1 track with the amp, 1 dirty amp, and 1 track only the direct signal via the analog out. But in that case, I have just 1 track, and I did this with the parallel path. So the first 2 effects go directly to the output. So just played with the bass 6 here. You hear. This is just the direct signal without the amp, coming from with compressor and then going out to the output. And now mixed to this signal is the amp sound. The amp should be turned on. Yeah. Wait a minute. Parallel path. A little bit more dirty. With the P bass, it's very much more dirtier because it has more output, the P bass, so this is not gritty enough. But you get an idea from that. And I mixed that more with the direct signal. This one. So this is a really good and easy way to track with the profiler bass, track bass with the profiler, and use just 1 track and mix the direct signal with the amp signal. So the first sound with the bass 6 was the Fuzz Bright Kemper Fuzz, the amp, the Marshall Super Lead profile. The gain is at 7, so it's raised up. And without the fuzz, you get this tone.
Cool sound.
Yeah. And then turning the fuzz on, you get more dirt. And for me, it was important that you hear the attacks of the notes. And that's fine. And there's something to use here. The definition is turned down, but the bright cap intensity is not that high. So if you want a more brighter tone, especially with this Marshall, you can turn up the bright cap and lower the gain. You get this one, and with more definition you get a more tighter low end. But in that case I wanted to have a more warm and softer low end, but a little bit more tightness or a little bit more bright with the bright cap intensity. In that one, I had it at 1.9, not that high, but I didn't need to turn it up. I turned it up in other sounds because the gain is very much high. So this is the sound. The next thing is the fuzz high gain, and here we have definition a little bit lower, bright cap intensity the same, and the gain turned a little bit lower, but with the fuzz and a compressor to get these static notes. And the noise gate at 4.5. This is where you're using these single coils, so you need the noise gate turned up very much. Okay, now the slicer. It's a pulse slicer. By the way, the reverb is just a little bit of room with 1.8 seconds decay time, and the mix level is 30%, so not that much. And this is for this fuzz slicer is basically the same sound as the high gain sound. Fuzz here at 5.8. And the gain at 5.9, bright cap 1.9, definition at 2.1. And you hear the slicer. And it's set to 8 notes, tempo synced. Turn it down here. And the tempo is at 160 BPM, so the song tempo. And compressor is off. I didn't need to use that with the slicer. That was okay. But with the slicer, I used a little bit of ducking so that the first attack of the note is a little bit, can be heard. And you hear the attack and you hear the first note and then the slicing, but not that much. So if you raise that, it's really too high. You know, it's the slicer sound comes too late. Starts too late. So at 1.9.
But that's also very, very interesting when it when later it comes into this pulse mode.
But for me, I really like to have this. So it was something like 0.5. And another very important thing is you need to tap the tap tempo button just once at the 1. So while recording, I've had 2 bars pre-roll. After the first bar, I tapped the 1 and then played in the starting with the 3rd bar. So I had enough time to set the guitar and start playing. And this is very important because otherwise you don't have the slicer synced to the tempo. So to the first, it's synced to the tempo, but this doesn't start at the 1. So this is very important here. And then you. And the next thing is the panning. Nearly the same stuff. And here the mix level a little bit lower. Ducking is at 0, so in that case I use the mix level to get my basic note. So you hear the basic note in the center, and then the auto panner pans from left to right. So you have this, you've heard it. And the stereo is at 81, so not that really wide. You can do it more center focused. Or very wide. But that, for me, it was something, at around 80, which was quite okay for the arrangement. Yeah, so these were the settings.
Pretty good. Really good.
Some really easy stuff to use. And especially for this, my favorite definitely is the slicer in double tracked, so left and right. And you have this movement, you have this 8-note movement, but not the attack, this hard attack. And when you sync it, when you press the tap button at the right moment, and you can do that with the foot switch too, so no problem to use that one. And you really get a nice movement in the lower frequency range. Some synth style, arpeggiator style with the guitar or the bass 6.
Pretty cool. And as you were doing your tones, it reminded me of something which is something that basically came out as a pre-release track to an album. And this was all about bass. And I think let's try, and if you can hear that.
Set this bitch in motion, she's emotional. I ain't tryna make this conversational. If she were really something, she'd still have him though.
And then just for I don't know if you could hear that. Could you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, because that's and I found quite some tracks that are like this, where you just have beats and some bass as the main rhythm instrument, and taking over some other duties as well. And these tones in that track, your tones reminded me of this one, because there's this semi-distorted bass, and then this heavily distorted bass doing something over here, and then going back down and making room for the vocals. So with this thing there, the bass 6 and your tones, you would be already prepared to do something like that. So it's pretty interesting. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so this is one thing to use the bass 6 and to use some dirty stuff. There are many different other things using this instrument or using the lower instruments. Yeah, and I think in the next episode I will take a closer look at these drums and low-tuned guitars with effects and atmospheric sounds. So this will be the next step.
Yeah, and this is going to be pretty interesting as well, because there is this trend to, I mean, it was first in metal that guitars really went low, and then in a parallel universe in urban music, the kick drums went really, really, really low. Because in rock music there was not so much very deep
Yeah.
low end there. And now it's coming, it's popping up in various genres that, guitars are tuned lower, not so many instruments at the same time. And that's pretty cool because your guitars, the stuff you did last week and now today with this one, and some really heavy, low-tuned drums and not so much other instruments could really make a completely new impact for some new styles of music. So we are very contemporary here. That's awesome. Yeah, then for now, I would say thank you for this episode, and then we're looking forward to the next one.
I will put the fuzz sounds, the 4 fuzz sounds on the rig exchange. So just for if somebody's interesting, it's TT, search for TT, and then fuzz bright, fuzz high gain, and B6. B6 is the sign. TT, B6, fuzz bright, fuzz high gain, fuzz slice, fuzz pan.
Yeah, okay, cool. One last question as we speak about this, because when you put the tones up, of course you can't put up the guitar, the instrument.
Yes.
Do you know if some other brands are doing stuff like that, or is Fender the only company with it?
No. I think Dan Electro has something, and Eastwood.
I think Dan Electro, they have this baritone guitars, and
They have
then
the baritone,
and
with
then
the-
they have the bass, but nothing like this, I
I
guess.
think they had in the
Okay.
back in the other,
Back in the
days.
day, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
and I think Eastwood has something similar.
Okay. Between today and the next one, I try to look it up and see if there's something else. But definitely, this one is pretty cool. Yeah.
There are some. Wait a minute. Schecter, more metal style baritone guitars with these long scale and tunable down to E, to low E. I
Okay.
think I saw something in that range, this metal style stuff. But this is not really the metal style because it has single coils, and that's great to have these single coils, these tiny, stiffy and bright sounding single coils.
Yeah, the attack is much
Yeah.
more intense and pretty cool. All right. Take care for today and looking forward to the next one with the effects. Take care. Bye.
Bye.